I love how you just wear anything. That moment right there, that was the compliance scan, and you just passed it. You felt it. And that is exactly what they were watching. Not your clothes, not your tone, not whether the comment was accurate. What they were watching was what you fixed, because that is where the real information is. Right now, you are being measured, not through a confrontation, not through something very obvious, but through a scan so ordinary you would feel paranoid for noticing it. That paranoia is your only protection. Use it. The tension dissolves, the interaction continues, and nothing looks wrong at all. But that's why it works. They're not looking for a reaction. They're looking for a repair. And if you repair the moment for them, you just gave them a clean read. Most people pass these tests perfectly. And that is exactly why they get selected. What happens in the first 60 seconds of certain interactions is not random. It's not chemistry. It's not intuition. It's a scan. A quiet, frictionless sequence of behavioral tests running underneath what looks like normal conversation. And if you don't see them, you don't stop what they become. The first test is a boundary probe. And the reason it works is because it is small. Deliberately small. Nobody tests you with something obvious. They test you with something you will excuse. A quick favor, a minor request. Can you just do this real quick? Can you grab that? Can you handle this for me? No buildup, no justification, just pressure. Or it's physical. They step slightly into your space, not aggressively. Just enough to make you adjust. And you do. Without thinking. That's the test. Not the favor, not the movement, the speed of your compliance. Because hesitation means something in you notice the shift. And noticing creates resistance. It creates friction. It signals that there is a boundary. But when there is no hesitation, that tells them something else. It tells them pressure moves through you easily, that your boundaries are flexible, that your space is negotiable. You think you are being cooperative. You think you are being easygoing. You think you are being helpful. You're not. You're being profiled. That is when they know you're a safe target. And in their world, safe means usable. Usable means predictable. And predictable means controllable. You've done this before. More times than you remember. And you probably didn't notice when it happened. But the most dangerous test isn't a request. It's silence. The second test is expectant silence, where the conversation is moving normally and there's rhythm. Then suddenly, it stops. They look at you and they wait. No cue, no signal, just space. And you feel it. That pressure to respond, to fill the gap, to move things forward again. So you talk. You explain something that didn't need explaining. You add context that wasn't asked for. You offer information that had no reason to be there. You start managing the silence. Silence isn't empty. It's a test. And most people fail it in under 3 seconds. They're measuring how fast you break discomfort. If you can't hold a 3-second silence, you'll give up leverage just to end the pressure. They didn't ask. You answered anyway. That's when you give access without being asked. And once you start talking, you don't stop at the right point. You go further. You reveal more. Because the discomfort hasn't fully left yet. That's the trap. Stop. You're being interrupted. Right now, in the middle of your sentence. That's not random. That's the third test. Subtle interruption. You're speaking, mid-thought, and they begin talking over you. Not loudly, not aggressively. Just enough to override your space. And most people do the same thing. They stop. They withdraw. They defer. They wait. That's the test. Whether you hold your position or give it up. Because once you give it up, you don't get it back. If you don't finish your sentence, you don't hold your position. I wasn't finished. That's it. No explanation, no apology, no adjustment. Because the moment you justify yourself, you lose the frame. You turn a position into a request, and once that happens, the interruption already worked. That's when your status drops. The fourth test is fake vulnerability. This is the most effective test because it feels like connection. They share something personal, a struggle, a disappointment, something that sounds real, something that feels like trust. And because it feels like they took a risk, you feel the pull to match it. So you open up. You share something real, something with weight, and it feels meaningful. It feels like connection. It feels like trust. It isn't. This isn't trust. It's extraction. They gave you something that cost them nothing. You gave them something that cost you everything. They don't want honesty. They want inventory. They aren't listening to connect. They're listening to weaponize. They're filing your wounds under future leverage. They're tracking what matters to you, what affects you, what destabilizes you, what you react to, because everything you reveal becomes usable later. Not now, later. At the exact moment, it gives them advantage. And that's when they map you. And once you're mapped, they don't need to test anymore. The fifth test is urgency pressure. A decision appears suddenly. We need to move now. I need an answer. Tell me now. No time to think. No time to step back. No time to evaluate. And that is the point, because time creates resistance. Time lets you notice things. Time lets you question things. Urgency removes all of that. Urgency removes resistance. That's why it always feels rushed. You comply with them just to end the pressure, not because it is right, but because it's fast. Not right now. That is the correct response. Because the moment you explain your no, you've accepted their frame. You've accepted their timeline. You've accepted their pressure. A real boundary doesn't need justification. 5 tests, 60 seconds, and none of them look like what they are. That's why they work. You felt these moments before. You just couldn't name them. Now you can. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Knowing the test is one thing, but if you didn't see them while they were happening, you didn't miss them. You passed them. And that's exactly what they were waiting for. You've seen the scan. Now see the selection. Watch this next. Why manipulators choose you.